This is a demonstration of the capabilities of the updated KYKLOS 4.0 Deep Learning Toolkit for predictive maintenance. In this demonstration, I will guide you through the process of creating and deploying a model. This process consists of three main steps. First, we need to analyze the dataset and apply pre-processing. Then we have to create a model. Last, we need to evaluate this model and deploy it if the results are promising. So let's begin by selecting a dataset. For this demonstration, we will use a dataset from a shipyard crane provided by one of our partners. The data was recorded over the last year and a new data point is added once a minute, resulting in approximately 250,000 data points, each with over 100 features. As you can see here, the dataset is provided through a data stream, meaning that new data is downloaded every hour. Because the dataset is quite large and messy, I have already prepared some pre-processing to clean it up. I will now go through the pre-processing steps with you to give you an understanding of the capabilities of this toolkit. So the first pre-processing function filters out any columns that have only very few values. The next function translates the remaining column names from Spanish to English. Those two pre-processing steps I do for every model for this dataset. Then I will select the columns for the component that is going to be analyzed today. This component is a translation system, which moves the crane sidewards. After the right features are selected, some rows were filtered out because the values were way too high to be realistic, and thus there seemed to be some kind of recording error. The last step is that two columns were also removed because they were constant, so they didn't hold any information. Now let's get a better feel of the data by analyzing different plots. First, in the raw data plot, we can see that most of the values are in fact binary values by looking at the scaling of the y-axis. Another takeaway from this plot is a large gap in the middle. This is due to some recording error because some of the hardware broke and needed to be replaced. I also want to take a look with you at the PCA plots. With PCA, I'm interested in how easily the data can be transformed by principal component analysis. As you can see, selecting only 5 principal components represents over 90% of the variance in the dataset. This points to that it should be quite manageable for a small network to learn the inner structures of the data. After now taking a closer look at the data, we can proceed by finishing the preprocessor. Because we are only interested in anomalies, I like to make it a little bit easier for the network and aggregate the values. This is done by choosing this preprocessing function and then selecting to aggregate by time. After this, the time period has to be put in. For us, this will be 1 hour. Last, we have to select which values should be aggregated, and for this we select mean, maximum and minimum values as well as the standard deviation, meaning we get for each hour and each feature the mean, min, max and S2D values. After aggregation, non-available data needs to be removed from the dataset. This is done by selecting this preprocessing function. In this case, it is sufficient to drop the rows with non-available data, because these rows hold only very few values. In the end, the values need to be scaled, so the error of the neural networks is uniform. For scaling, we select this preprocessing function and select min-max scaler to scale the values between 0 and 1. Now that the pre-processing is done, one could again try to analyze the preprocessed dataset, but we are going to proceed to modeling right away. In modeling, you have the option to select an existing model or create a new model. We will create a new model now. To do this, you have to select the model type. We will select an LSTM autoencoder for this. Then, there are a few parameters that need to be set. For example, the model structure, There we will choose only one layer with 5 nodes to create a simple model. The number 5 was chosen because we saw that what we could do with 5 principal components. We also have to specify how many epochs we want to train. For this, we will select 200 for now. After this, we can start training. The training process with the loss and validation loss will show up here shortly, so we can see how the network is doing. After the training is finished, we can proceed to the evaluation of the model. For the evaluation, there are also some parameters that need to be set. But once they are set, we can see the anomaly score in this plot. There you can see that the anomaly score doesn't really contain any clear patterns or any clear anomalies. Although, in the end, it looks like the anomaly score is higher. So this points to some degradation happening in the machine. For the deployment, the anomaly score is split into 3 classes, like it is specified here. To analyze the anomaly score more in depth, it can be useful to look at the distribution of the different classes. A good example is if we look at the input pivot translation max sensor, where we can see highly different distributions in the different classes. In the end, if you are satisfied with the performance of the model, you can save it and with that automatically deploy it, so it is evaluated when the API is called. Thank you for watching, and I hope I was able to give you a good overview of the updated version of our toolkit.